นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะข้าพเจ้าขอนอบน้อมต่อองค์สมเด็จพระสัมมาสัมพุทธเจ้าวันนี้เป็นวันพระเล็กแรม8 ค่ำเดือน 1 Today is the 8th day of the waning moon of the first month วันนี้จะให้พูดถึงเรื่องอะไรคะหลวงพี่วิริยาพระที่บวชใหม่จะฝึกตัวตนอย่างไร I always ask the questions I think if you just keep talking on your own my own interest and it's not the interest of the audience it is not proper so she said that what happened to the newly ordained bhikkhu or bhikkhunis what they should do that's a good question that is a good question let me remind you first today we would like to dedicate our marriage to the princess, the first daughter of the present king. She had an accident on the 14th. She went to this dog competition, I think it was dog competition, and suddenly she fainted and she was unconscious. So they brought her back by helicopter back to Bangkok. I think the king was concerned, naturally, she being his oldest daughter, and she has been very helpful to her royal father. And we were concerned. All of us were concerned because it has something to do with the heart, If suddenly the heart stops, it will not be so good. But then we learned later on that the muscle, her heart muscle was torn. And now they have taken care of her and she is on the mend. So that is good news. But nevertheless, today we invited her to come be part of the offering so that this is highest merit that we did make offering to her. So that is the context at the beginning. That is a reminder. Look at the princess. She just celebrated her birthday on the 7th of December. She just completed 44 years old. And look at her with this condition. It could be serious. So we are being reminded of this impermanence. And that is the real teaching the Buddha had given us. Impermanence is one of the 3 characteristics. ไตรลักษณ์ภาษาไทยภาษาบาลีบอกไตรลักษณ์ใช่ไหม The 3 characteristics. The first one say aniccaṃ. The first one is impermanent. ทุกขัง It cannot stay. Dukkha means suffering, but it also means it cannot stay as it is. All of us sitting here, we are changing all the time. Yes, every minute we are changing. You look at me and you said, oh, Venerable Mother is very old. I don't get old overnight, I was like you, young and vibrant and active like you. And slowly, medically, the medical doctors will tell you that as soon as you reach 25, how many of you have now reached 25? Raise your hand. See, you have reached 25 years old. After you have reached 25 years old, now you are climbing down the mountain. Yes? So, we cannot be negligent. We cannot be negligent of the teaching of the Buddha. And the teaching of the Buddha is nothing but nature around us. And nature presents itself in front of us daily. Whether you look at the leaves, whether you look at your own breath, it is a reminder that life and death is here and now. It can happen to you, it can happen to me. The other day I was talking to Parat, she is 4 years older than me, and we were discussing who would go first. Would I know? Would I really know? Would she really know that who is going to go first? So we make this paying chut, It turned out that both of us have the same thing, So then we decided that maybe we go together. We go together. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows when we are going to depart from this world. And because we do not know when we are going to depart from this world, we might as well do our best for the present. Starting from now, starting from this, our breathing in and out, let's start from now, that we will now try our best to see things as they are. That it falls under the 3 characteristics of impermanent, of dukkha, cannot stay, and of no real self. No real self. So this is the Buddhist message. Now when we talk about anatta, we have really misunderstood the concept of anatta, and we have really gone too far, way too far from what the Buddha meant to refute. He refuted the atta that was common in India at that time. They hold on to atta, they hold on to Atman as real, to eternity. The Buddha was trying to tell us, trying to show us that this self, as such, as what they believe, that is going to go on unchangeable, permanent, until eternity, is not there. That atta that they are talking about is not there. It's not real. It is only maya. It is only delusion. But this self, the self that is sitting here, I am sitting here as Dhammananda, this is real. This imperial self is real. But what I consider real also, it is not real in itself, because it depends on other conditions. I am being conditioned. Sitting here, I am being composed of the 4 elements. So I am being conditioned by the appropriateness of coming together of these 4 elements. When the 4 elements are imbalanced, I get sick. I have too much heat in my body, then you say I have fever, right? If I have lose too much water, then I might die, And when somebody dies, Thai people always say, "Mot lom lao." The first thing you note, the wind is gone. The wind element, mot lom lao, is gone. You would bring your finger to the person's nostril just to see whether there is still that breathing in and breathing out. When there is no more breathing in and breathing out, it means that person's life has come to an end with the first departure of wind element. Yes, so then we are being reminded today, that we also, each one of us sitting here, we are also impermanent, and we cannot stay forever. We are being reminded of the teaching of the Buddha, and I really feel grateful. My gosh, if we didn't have the Buddha to show us the way, to guide us to the path, how we will be lost in the jungle of ignorance. We are so lucky that in this time, this particular Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, had shown us the way. He must be really a great personality. You imagine, his teaching was given in India, in Indian soil, 2,600 years ago. But it still lasts up to our time. His teaching must be real. Otherwise it would have gone. It would have gone. Nobody would have really passed down to us. And we were grateful, more grateful to Venerable Ananda for being the very good tape recorder for us, for recording all the Buddha's teaching, at least in the last 25 years. It was recorded through the good memory of Venerable Ananda. Again, now we have that great sense of gratitude for Venerable Ananda for preserving us the teaching. And how lucky we are that we are born into this human form, able to understand the teaching of the Buddha, and still in the Buddha's time. How lucky we are born as human beings. You know, we are very lucky to be born as a human being, because you may do some good action and then you pray that you will be born in the next Buddha's time. The next Buddha's time, see Arya Maitreya, the next Buddha. Oh yes, then eventually you will be born in his time. But what happens if you will be born as a dog? You cannot be enlightened. You can be enlightened only in this human form. But we are already in this human form. We already have this human form. Why are we postponing? Why are we postponing this ability to be enlightened? Don't you want to be free from suffering? Don't you want to see this freedom, the reality of freedom, complete freedom from the clinging of I, me, my mind? Don't you want to be happy, truly happy? So this brings us back to the reality that we are human beings. We are born human beings. We already have this existence, which only this existence that will allow you to be enlightened. Don't you know? If you were born as Deva up in heaven, you cannot be enlightened. You have to come down. You have to be reborn again as human being. Only in human body. Only then you can be enlightened. So let's not postpone. Let's not postpone our work to strive for enlightenment in this present birth. This is to honor the Buddha. This is to honor the present Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha. Why do you want to honor the future Buddha and you pray to be born in his time? Many Thai people would do that, you know. They say that they don't have enough punya in this life and they will not. They believe, they already have the mindset that they will not be enlightened in this lifetime and they want to be born in the future Buddha's time. But how can we be sure that we will be born human being? Yes, so we are already born into this human being form. We should do our best, try our best to free ourselves from this binding, the binding that which binds us to this existence, to the future existence, and to this cycle of existence over and over. And we have been doing that for all this time, you know, so many thousands of years of kalpa that we have been going around like this. When are we going to stop this cycle of birth and death? Only with the realization of the teaching of the Buddha, then we can be truly be enlightened. Yes, so I think this is a time, particularly the Samaneri who have been receive ordination this time, and some of them will remain, some of them will return. And this is a time that we really consider the teaching of the Buddha seriously. To be born a human being. In the sutra it says, it is like a turtle, a blind turtle. This blind turtle will come up to the surface after 100 years. And there is one loop. This loop is floating on the surface of the water. And this blind turtle must put his head through this loop. Imagine how difficult it would be. Every 100 years, this turtle will come up. But what is the chance for him to be able to put his head through this floating loop? That is how difficult it is for us to be born human being. So, be reminded how life is so impermanent. Be reminded that you may be young, you may be considering yourself young, you expect to live for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years after this. But then, we are not sure. That's why this morning I was telling you that I live only today. and then tomorrow let us see. For today, I try my best to do what I can to keep this kusala, the word kusala, wholesome. Venerable Ajahn, the master, explained to us that gu means bad, evil. Sala is to let go. So let go of the bad, let go of the evil ones. But this letting go of bad action, bad thoughts, for the purpose of enlightenment. So kusala is very important that we understand kusala. We keep kusala and we avoid akusala. So that our path, we kind of weed off, take the weed off our path so that our path is clear. The fact that we are here together as monastics, I think it allows us together to be on this path much easier. So let every minute be our practicing minutes. Let us be on the path, let us be steady on this path, so that we can make enlightenment real in our life. To make our enlightenment real in our life, then you become a good salesman. Because this barisat, Putta barisat, this barisat, if you cannot produce the product, what is the product of Buddhism? The product of Buddhism is enlightenment. How come this barisat cannot produce any product? Yes, so our factory will go bankrupt. So we must strive towards enlightenment, to be a good salesperson, to reassure the market that this product is good, because you can be enlightened, they can also be enlightened, you can be happy, you can be free, they can also be happy, they can also be free. Okay? Do we have the same understanding?